Greetings, YouTube. As anyone who's watched a number of my videos knows, I am not a fan of conservative political movements. In particular, the libertarian movement has always been one that has confused me to no end. And a lot of the libertarian positions are based on the work of Ayn Rand, author of The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. Now, I read both these novels, and I found them interesting. I can't say they're good writing because they're not particularly good writing. There are monologues that seem to run on for pages. But the end characters are interesting. Some of the worldviews expressed by the author are interesting. I don't agree with them, and I think that ultimately trying to base any kind of a philosophy or a society based off of them is doomed to failure, anarchy, and chaos. However, one of the positions that Rand took was that you had to pay your own way, that taxation was theft, and you shouldn't need government assistance of any kind. You should be able to stand on your own 2 feet. The whole concept of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, which is a term which seems to be so popular in America today. Well, it has come to light that Rand, using another name, collected from the Social Security and Medicare programs while ill. Now, I have no desire to impeach a person's character because they're ill. If you're ill and you need assistance, go for it. Remember, I support a single-payer universal health care system. I believe that all of us should pay into it and all of us should benefit from it. Now, what I call into question is the fact that she did this under another name. Now, she could make an argument, and she did, that she was forced to pay taxes so that taking money back out of the government systems would be justified. And she would be correct in that. You can say that, well, they made me pay into it, so it's okay if I take money out of it. And I wouldn't argue with that. I don't agree with it, but I wouldn't argue with it. Because I think that the concept that taxation is theft is kind of a high school level of political discourse. But the fact that she hid the fact that she was doing this, that she did not want people to know that Ayn Rand, the author of Atlas Shrugged, was receiving money from the government, says something very telling. She was trying to hide this fact, that she was apparently ashamed of this fact, that just maybe the fact that she was receiving money from the government might impinge upon her character, on the worldview she projected and the personality that she marketed herself. So yes, I know that I'm going to have libertarians be upset when I speak ill of Rand. Again, I have no desire to watch anyone suffer. I don't have a desire to see anyone anywhere ever suffer. I believe that we should all pay our taxes, and I believe that we should all benefit from those taxes. I believe questioning where those taxes are spent is legitimate. For example, I don't want my taxes funding the purchase of, say, napalm or bombers or things like that, but they do. But I also realize that I benefit from the military. So, maybe we should scale that back a little, but I understand why it's there. But for-profit healthcare systems are unethical and immoral and incredibly ineffective. Single-payer systems cost less, provide healthcare for everyone, and you end up with a healthier, longer-lived population. It's a win-win-win situation. Private healthcare, as we have in America, has rampant overruns when it comes to costs. It doesn't provide healthcare for everyone, and our life expectancy are some of the lowest amongst industrialized nations. So, I can't fault Rand for doing what she did, but she was a hypocrite, and it's really important to understand that. Now, I'm going to make a quote here that's from Rand herself. There can be no compromise on basic principles. There can be no compromises on moral issues. There can be no compromise on matters of knowledge, of truth, of rational conviction. And yet, she hid the fact that she received government-funded health services. And one more quote for this morning, which I found quite entertaining. There are two novels that can change a bookish 14-year-old's life, The Lord of the Rings and Atlas Shrugged. One is a childish fantasy that often engenders a lifelong obsession with its unbelievable heroes, leading into an emotionally stunted, socially crippled adulthood, unable to deal with the real world. The other book, of course, deals with orcs.